Hey, I'm Aaron with Seattle Piano Company, and today we're going to talk a little bit about buzzing or rattling sounds that you might be hearing inside of your upright piano. There's a ton of things that it could be, but 9 times out of 10 I have found that these 5 things are generally the issue. We're going to talk about how to identify them and how to fix them. This is a Yamaha YUS 3. This is one of our most popular models, and what we're going to go over is going to be pretty common amongst all Yamaha upright pianos. It could kind of transition into other brands as well. So we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Starting at the bottom of the piano here, we'll get down to the casters. Sometimes when a piano is sitting on the floor and the surface isn't totally level, 3 casters can be making contact with the ground and one will be up slightly. And so what happens is it's not super visual, it's not super intuitive, but you'll hear this buzzing only with certain keys, certain frequencies being played, and the wheel will actually buzz. The metal will kind of rattle against each other and it'll drive you crazy because you will never think to look down at the caster, but a lot of times that is what's going on. So what we do to kind of figure out if that is going to be our issue or not is to go through all of the casters and see if you can maybe fit a piece of cardboard under there, see if there's any movements or not. I mean, you shouldn't be able to move it around with your fingers at all. So if you are, that could definitely be an issue. I would go ahead and try to stuff a piece of cardboard under there, which will take up the slack. Try playing the notes that were problematic and see if the buzzing goes away. This next one is a little bit less intuitive. I mean, you're probably not opening up your piano too much, but the middle pedal down here, which operates the practice pedal or the muffler rail inside, has an adjustment right behind this panel right here. So sometimes you're playing and it's actually a pretty aggressive rattle. So here in the store, when we are doing our setup, we'll adjust this rod right here, and this rod translates to the inside up to the top of the piano, and it dictates how far down that felt rail goes. And so there's this adjustment right here, and there is a nut here on this rod right here, and after you make your adjustment with this plastic piece, this nut needs to be ran up so that the adjustment stays. Now what happens sometimes is once these leave the shop, this is nice and tight, but then it goes on the truck and then it's going to the next location, and this thing will rattle loose. And when it rattles loose, sometimes it's pretty subtle, but then as you're playing it, it'll actually kind of work its way down because of the vibration. And eventually you start getting this vibrating noise. So the way to get down there and check it out is we have a leaf spring up here. So we go ahead and press that up, and then that allows this panel to come down. I would recommend kind of keeping some pressure downward as you're opening it so it doesn't leave the rest of the piano. There's these dowels here that keep it in place, and those will kind of rest on this ledge right here and at least let you get a look at this. But you don't need to use tools or anything like that. I mean, you just need to see if this is loose or not, and if it is, you can just finger tight, just adjust it up to this plastic adjustment knob here, and you're good to go. That should take care of it for you. Next up is the music desk. The music desk is this flap right here that comes down and holds the music for you. Sometimes if the music rack isn't totally latched up, or sometimes if it's down but not totally in its resting position, the 2 pieces here, the fall board and the music desk, they'll be making very slight contact with one another, and some notes will create a frequency that makes them vibrate against one another. So the fix for that is basically just trying to play it with the music rack up, take all the music off of it, go ahead and flip it up, play those keys that were being problematic before and see if that fixes it, and then vice versa, try it open if you were hearing the vibration with it closed before. And the fix is basically just making sure that it's kind of firmly in place, either when you have it down to hold music or up to get out of your way. Next would be the front panel here. So the front panel of the piano can be removed so we can service the inside. So when your piano tuner comes over to tune the piano or work on the piano, this front panel comes off. And the way that it comes off is it has these dowels that hold it in place down here at the base. And then up top, there are these two latches. And these two latches are what hold it to the rest of the piano's cabinet. And again, sometimes these can rattle loose. For one reason or another, one will be totally attached and the other one will not at the time of delivery. And the washers at the screw that attach it can be rattling sometimes, or it could just be the two wood pieces themselves right here that'll cause some rattling. So if you open up the top lid here that shows you the inside of the piano, I would just go in there, take a look at these latches and just push down just a little bit. I mean, don't go crazy obviously, but just make sure that they're firmly in place, and then try those notes again, and hopefully that takes care of it for you. Lastly, all the way at the top here, we have the piano's lid. This is a two-piece lid that's separated by a hinge right here, and so sometimes you could be playing the piano, and with the lid closed, you're hearing that vibrating or that buzzing. Opening it up here, there are these felt pieces that keep the lid from making contact with the rest of the piano's frame or cabinet here. Sometimes those can wear down, or sometimes they're just missing, so when you're playing certain notes, the lid itself is actually vibrating against the either the front panel or the frame of the piano here on the sides. So maybe try playing the piano with the lid open, see if that changes at all. And then kind of the other thing that could be happening is maybe it's only buzzing when the lid's all the way open, and that's probably because the two pieces here are making contact. Most of the time it's totally fine. There aren't any felts or rubber bumpers that diffuse these two panels. Yamaha doesn't sell them with the piano new, so they're usually not necessary, but sometimes, you know, the wood can adjust a little bit throughout the years and it creates a void, and, you know, those two pieces can start buzzing a little bit. So a way to kind of see if that's what the deal is just trying to play with the lid open and close. If it's buzzing and you're relatively certain it's coming from the top lid up here, it could be the hinge. These screws up here are brass and they're very soft, so you want to make sure you have the appropriate size screwdriver when you go in there, and be very, very light. And just make sure that they're snug. Just put like a little bit of tension on there. If you find one that like takes, you know, a half a turn or 3/4 of a turn, it could be that a part of the hinge was loose and that's what was vibrating. All right, so those 5 things I found to be like the most common when tracking down the buzzing or the vibrating. This is a very complicated instrument. There's a lot going on in there, so there are several other things that could be causing a buzz or a vibration going on inside of the piano. I'd advise not going too much further than what we just went over for those things that usually cause the buzzing. If you're hearing something just in the bass register or whatever, and it's not going away by tracking down those things, really just call a piano technician. They'll go through it. It's probably something simple, but something simple for them might open up a can of worms if you start going in there and, you know, tightening screws and the like. So all that stuff's pretty simple maintenance. Go for it, try that out. If you're in the market for a like-new Yamaha piano, please drop me a line or shoot me an email. All of my info is in the description of this video. I hope that this helped solve some of the buzzing out there in the world. I'm off to the next project. Thanks a lot for watching.